Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in for another episode. I got a box from Tackle Warehouse in the mail the other day, and it was full of stuff that I need for upcoming tournaments, full of a few things that I didn't really need and I just bought because I thought they were cool looking. So I've got here three of those items for you that I'm excited to try, but more than anything, I'm curious to know from you guys, have you had success on these baits? To me, they all look pretty good, and I think they're all probably going to work and be pretty decent. But I'm curious to know from you guys, first off, if you're using them, are you having success? And secondly, how are you using them? What type of techniques? Because I could see a lot of different uses for all three of these baits. So I'm really curious. I'm going to jump right into these. I am going to let you know I'll put the link for all these in the video description in case you want to make a spur of the moment buy like I did from Tackle Warehouse and support the channel. All right, so let's start it off. The first one I want to talk about is this little guy right here. It's a cool looking bait. This is the MS Craw from Depths, the 2.6-inch size. There's a couple of things I really like about this. So the first thing I want to point out is the color on it is a color that I really like. I don't even know, it doesn't even say on here. I'd have to go back and look to see, but I know when I ordered it, it's got that purpley, that kind of that oxblood purpley color that I really, really like. But there's a lot of things going on here. So it's got a bunch of different appendages, little leg type appendages, which are very limber, look very realistic. I think they may actually catch water and give a little flutter, which has that similar look to like a mayfly nymph. When their little legs, they're almost like gills that just start flaring in the water. So I like that a lot. I like the ribbed body, how limber it is. This bait is very, very limber. And then last but not least, I like the little kicking legs on it. So you guys know I really like small micro finessey type baits. I could definitely see using this on a Ned rig. I could see using it on a small finesse style jig, like a firework jig or a small, the little Kitech tungsten jigs that I like to throw. Some sort of really small finessey jig trailer. I think it could work great even as a Texas rig, a light Texas rig if I wanted to do it that way, or as a drop shot. I think this would probably crush on a drop shot. Lots of things going on here, lots of cool different features to it. It's kind of a cross between like a Ned style bait, a Craw style bait, a creature style bait, but it's a micro version. So it's just a lot smaller than your traditional kind of creature style baits. Depths generally makes very high quality baits. So I'm excited for this one. I think, and it's got a nice smell to it too. I think this one is going to really work well. So that's one I'm excited to try. The next one, I haven't really heard of this company at all, but I stumbled upon it on the website. This guy right here, this is A3 Anglers. It's the A3 Flex Tail Better Ned Rig 2.75. And what I like about this is it's got, that stretchy material similar to like the Z-Man, but it's also got a more of a fish tail on it. So, this is made to be fished as a Ned rig, but I like the fork tail. I like the ribbing. So you get a little bit more motion than you get. Let's see if I have one somewhere here. Feel like I should have one somewhere. Like here's a Z-Man. So you get a little bit more motion out of that. If I'm just holding it, trying to hold it still, this guy just wiggles better if you tap him. So from that standpoint, I think that this really will have a good look on a Ned rig. I'm not saying it's going to replace all my other Ned rigs, but I definitely think it's got a good place to try. I like the head on it. It's got a nice easy cavity to fit most of the Ned heads that are out there. I just think this will be a good bait. I have heard good things about this. I've never tried it. This is the first time I've ever held it, but that is one of the reasons why I ordered it when I saw it on Tackle Warehouse. So I'm excited to give it a try. I also think this could be really good just as a drop shot bait too. Like I don't think it's got to be just a Ned rig, but I think if you were to hook it on a drop shot and just let that tail kind of move around, you get that good bait fish look to it. And I don't really see how Smallmouth, spotted bass, and largemouth are going to say no to this. So I'm excited to give that one a try. The last one kind of goes along with the old poop bait that's been floating around. So this is pretty similar. This is the Noris version. This is the 3-inch Flip Dom. So it's got that same kind of poop look going on. It's got more different sides to it. So it's got more of like that bug. I don't know. It almost looks like a beetle. You probably can't really tell that good, but it's got a lot of different things going on. Now, one of the reasons I bought this bait specifically has to do with the Core Tackle hover rig hook that I make. You know, this guy right here. I think in this rigged with the flat side down, because it is definitely flatter than it is wider. I think I'm gonna get some crazy gliding motion out of this, more than the cover scat, which people refer to as the poop rig. Even though this is similar, the cover scat is much more round. And I'm sure that works somewhat on it too, but I really think this is going to look good on the hover rig. So I'm excited to try it on that. Other than that, I definitely do think you could rig it like a Texas rig, flip it around. I think you could put it on a Ned rig or on a jig head, or use it as a trailer on some jigs. But I'm excited to try it. It's just weird. It's hard for me to sit here and be like, gotta throw this Flip Dom or gotta throw the cover scat, because they're just big, bulky chunks of plastic that don't do anything, but they do catch fish. Guys are catching a lot of fish on them. And I think this one is going to have some killer gliding motion. So I'm excited to try it. And we'll see how it goes. So this is the Noris Flip Dom. I'll put links for all three of these in. But I've been buying a lot of crazy plastics. For a while, I go through these transitions where I buy like crankbaits. And then I'll go through like skirted baits. And then I get into plastics. And it leads to this. I have walls of stuff that I probably will never use again, and walls of stuff that I make sure I've got stocked for every tournament I fish, because I use it that much. And you know, some of these baits may end up in the good pile, some of these baits may end up in the bad pile. I'd like to know from you guys, if you've used them, what are your opinions? Because most of these I think have been out for a little bit now. The MS Craw might be newer than these other ones, but I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say. If your experiences are terrible, let me know. If they're good, let me know. And I'll let you guys know what I think after I use them. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and stay tuned. We'll have a new one coming out tomorrow.